Well, all right. It's a throwback Thursday. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Juan Castillo with you. It's Walt's World NBA Talk. Got the All American Walter Luckett in the building again. NBA is getting a little serious right now, getting close to the finals over here. And so obviously, Phoenix did their thing last night. Walt, what do you think about the game?
Outstanding. And I think Chris Paul was so elated. I mean, I think he went around and hugged everybody on at the stadium
Yeah, he
because he
did.
finally arrived. So I think he deserves that. At age 38, there was a gap there from 38 is 38. So he's been around. I'm glad that and he's deserving of this getting into the finals. So God bless Chris Paul.
Well, let me tell you something. What I thought about this game was I got a lot. I got a couple of things out of this game. Number one, I was amazed at how the points were spread out. I mean, you had Chris Paul with 41, but Devin Booker scored 22. Jay
That's
Crowder,
right.
who finally came back again because he was MIA, got 19. And then you got like Michael Bridges got 9, Cameron Payne got 7, Zarek got 7. I mean, pretty much everybody scored except for Nader, right? So think about that. In an NBA
That won the game. That won the game. All around scoring. You're right.
they spread this thing out. They were passing, and of course, obviously, Chris Paul, when the Clippers made that run, he made his run.
Yes, he did.
You know,
But his timing was good, Juan. Again, though, to win a championship, he has to move that ball more. He made his shots and they look great, and his timing was perfect to get into the finals. But he plays slow ball, and they wait to see what he's going to do. I think that ball does better for them when they move the ball and the team's moving. So it's hard to say after you win the game and get into the finals that you need to correct where you play your offense. But Chris holds the ball too long for me.
yeah. And I mean, the one thing yesterday was he didn't give up a lot of turnovers, which is unusual. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
But again, he wasn't dribbling in traffic either. So maybe he's got it together because that's the problem he used to have when he was with the Clippers and other teams, right? Dribbling in traffic. You don't dribble in traffic. The only person I think could dribble in traffic is Kyrie Irving. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, he can finish. Yeah.
But I was disappointed because I was rooting for the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
Reggie Jackson. I mean, 13 points. But the reason I think he scored 13 points, even though he had 8 assists, right, was because Paul George. They kept on giving the ball to Paul George. You can't win like that.
And you know what, Juan? And you can't win giving Cousins the ball also.
Yeah, the Nets
I'm not
lost
feeling
like that.
Cousins.
The Nets lost like that when they came back and gave Kevin Durant the ball every time they came down court. That's how they lost.
And he ran out of gas.
Exactly.
It was just an unfortunate thing. But when you play Milwaukee now, if you play Milwaukee, they got the Twin Towers. It's not going to be that easy to get the shots off on the big boys. They're gonna block that middle. So
yeah,
even if what I'm saying. So if Trey plays or if CP3 plays anybody from Milwaukee, he better start passing the ball because you got Lopez and I think the Greek Freak's going to be back. They're a pretty big ball club.
Wait a minute. So you already putting Milwaukee in the finals? That's what.
I think they can make it. So you got 2 more games, and I don't know how they can lose 2 games in a row. That's going to be hard because I think
hear you stuttering, man.
I know the Greek Freak's going to. The Greek Freak's going to will that victory. I really believe that they are a better ball club, and I hate to say they are. They're a much better team.
And I mean, let me say this. You know what? I think that they can win without him too, because I think that if you give this team a chance to play without him, I think they might excel better. I'm going to tell you the truth, because he hogs the ball. They all stand around and watch him. And even in the last game, they weren't throwing the ball into to Lopez. It's ridiculous.
That's a good point. And both teams have that problem. One guy controlling the ball the whole time and running the clock out and then last second shots. And that's not going to win the championships. It's going to be tough, but Milwaukee, I think, is a better team. For some reason, they play better defense. And, it's going to be a good game tonight. But winning 2 games, beating Milwaukee 2 games in a row, that might be tough.
They're playing in Atlanta though, so I think that's going to be they're going to have the crowd behind them. But what you think of Patrick Beverly with that Bush League push?
I talked to you last night, and I tell you, really, if he continues to behave that way, they really need to kick him out of the league. Because I tell you, when you go out there to hurt individuals, that's not basketball. That's just cruelty, and we don't need that at basketball. This is not hockey. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And when the guy's in the air, or even when a guy's walking away from you and you shove him from behind, that's cowardly to me.
Hey, I got to be honest with you. That move that DeMarcus Cousins made with the elbow, I think that changed the game. Honestly.
Oh, no question.
I thought that changed the game. I mean, that's nonsense, man. And that's the reason why he's had problems, man. Because first of all, I'm not crazy about his games. Neither are you. I know you already, you know what I mean? But he's a big dude, and he's a little bit better than most centers, right? He's okay, but it's his attitude, man. I mean, in San Antonio, he turned down a whole bunch of money. And he hasn't been able, he lost money. He hasn't been able to recover that money.
Well, the question is, if you're a general manager, would you want Cousins to be your center, starting center?
Hey, that's the reason why he's been sitting on the bench.
And that's why they may not win the championship. That's what they got to get. They got to get a legitimate center, somebody that can play basketball, play it fair, and also be an offensive threat. Because somehow he just doesn't look balanced to me. He makes it look too hard. And then also when he makes a mistake, he blames everybody but himself. No, I'm not a Cousin fan. I'm sorry.
Now, your boy Kawhi Leonard finally came down and sat on the bench. You were concerned. You were very pissed off that he was sitting up there, in the suite while his team was playing. But he finally came back down for what?
I think they heard your show. Somebody they heard the YBC because all of a sudden he's sitting on the bench. The whole time he's up there in the bleachers watching the game from a suite. I don't know. That didn't make any sense. That showed me that there's no cohesiveness on that team. There's got to be some dissension, Juan, because that didn't make any sense.
And not only that, I mean, if you're going to sit on the bench, how come you're not cheering?
Didn't make a motion at all. Didn't even clap. Didn't even call a high five.
You're just sitting there, man. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. That's ridiculous. I mean, LeBron gets on the bench and he's coaching.
yeah, he's even more disrespectful.
He's taking over for the coach. You know what I'm saying?
I tell you, the game has changed, Juan. The game has changed. Coaches get no respect, and as a result, when you have that environment, it's hard to win championships.
Yeah, but I mean, let me ask you this question, right? Okay, so do you think that Chris Paul has got to play like he played in order for them to win the championship? Do you think that it's on his back, or is it on Booker's? What do you think? What's your choice?
I think it's on Monty Williams' back. He has to make some decisions.
Okay.
I'm going with the coach. The coach is a brilliant young man. He knows the game. I think he relies a lot on Chris Paul's leadership, but he has to take the leadership role also, because once the team realizes that he's in charge, then they can't let Chris Paul, control the game, control the ball, be afraid to, ask for the ball, So I think it's a coach's game. It's Monty Williams' game.
And
right now.
To that end, even though you still think Milwaukee Bucks are going to get to the finals, my boy was almost crying after the game.
Yeah.
What was that about?
Jackson?
No, I'm talking about Budheiser or whatever his name is.
Oh yeah. Well, I think he might be done.
But he was almost crying. I mean, it's like, I know he was devastated, right? But like, I mean, come on, give me some affect. You still got, I mean, it's like you ain't got nobody else on that team. That's not true. You got good players on that team. Because look, man, Middleton has got to step up. Drew Holiday's got to step up, and they got a lot of money.
Yes, they do.
So it's time for them to step up. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I think this series, and I think the championships could be won at the guard spot this year. The guards are strong this year, and unfortunately, my belief has always been you can't win without a center. But all our centers are hurt, so it
Except for
seems,
Lopez.
yeah, yeah. Lopez is what I call a 7 foot jump
Forward.
shooter. I mean,
Yeah.
I've never seen a guy
But
not want to go under the basket, and when he goes under there, he's hard to stop.
but listen, by the end of the day, this dude here, when he did get the ball inside, even though it looks ugly, he made some crazy little hook shots, man.
Yeah. Well,
They
he's
won a
relevant.
couple of games on his back.
Oh, there's no question. Lopez is relevant. He's a solid ball player, but why they don't even have plays for him. Everything
play.
he gets, he has to scrap for it. So again, I go back to coaching. I think right now, what's going to win the championship is a good coach. A coach is strategic. A coach has to read the defense and the offense and be effective and make the right moves. Now, I thought what was bizarre to me, Rondo didn't even play
At all.
I could not understand that. Was he hurt? I mean, he wasn't even in the rotation. So, these coaches make these decisions and they stick to it, and sometimes they lose ball games behind that. Now, I always believe that rebound and defense matters. When you don't control the boards, you got a problem. Small ball is good only if you're shooting 75% from the field. But other than that, you got to get the rebound, and you got to block shots, and you got to block that middle. And that's what's going to win ball games.
So now, what did you think about LeBron saying that the NBA really messed up because they came back too soon? They shouldn't have came back in Christmas time.
That's his way of apologizing for his poor performance in the tournament. He's trying to distract himself away from not being in the playoffs, and also it keeps him relevant. And then who else has been acting crazy with the media? Scottie Pippen. Yes. These guys, when they get idle, I don't know. I guess they feel they have to be part of the social media. I don't know. He didn't make any sense to me because it was okay when he won the championship last year under the bubble. Everything was okay.
Yeah, true. True.
And a lot of people were hurt last year, so why is it different this year?
No difference. You know what I mean? The difference is that these dudes need to do some leg work and stop stop trying to become muscle bound. Just all cut up, and I mean, like you got to do a lot of stretching if you're going to build up your muscles like that, because you're going to get tight.
Yes,
basketball is you got to be loose.
Because you're always running. You're cutting, you're stopping, you're jumping, and you're right. You have to be loose, and you have to also have a lot of endurance. I think what happened this year also, they didn't give the guys a break. Now, what was interesting, Juan, was when they picked the Olympic team, a lot of guys saying, I'm going to take a break. I'm not going to go to play in the Olympics. And I think that was a right decision, because what's more important, your livelihood at this point, or do you represent the country? Particularly back in the day when the country was represented by, college all-stars.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. Oh, I know, I agree with you 100%. What I think is that, because think about it, right? All the dudes that played in the All-Star game are the ones that got hurt.
Isn't that something? That's a very good point, Juan.
The All-Star game should not have happened. Why? First of all, I hate the All-Star game.
So do I.
I think it's ridiculous. It's like watching the Globetrotters.
It's not fun anymore. Back in the day when Kareem and the boys played, it was like up and down, and they played basketball, Magic in them. But today it's a circus, and I think this is for entertainment, and that it's just something I think that maybe they could get a break and get some rest and save some guys from injuries.
Especially this year, I think that hurt them more than coming back in December. And I mean, by the end of the day, right? I don't get it, because they were taking time off all season long anyway. They were taking time off anyway. So, all right, man. So it's time, man.
I just want one thing I want to bring up to you, before we forget it. What's ironic now, Juan, is that the ruling came out. College basketball players can be endorsed today.
Yes,
huge. That's going to have a big impact in the NBA also.
Well, yeah, but I think that it's not going to hurt the college game, because basically at this point they're going to be able to have some money in their pocket. If anything, they could hold back on getting, scammed by a lot of guys that come in and give them money because they ain't got no money while they're playing ball.
Good point. And
You know what
also
I'm saying?
they might get their education. They might finish school.
Exactly.
This is even more important.
Right. And listen, if you're a great college ball player and you don't make it to the NBA, you might make enough money in college and get your degree for you to be doing all right. So I like it.
And it makes you more marketable too, Juan, when you really think about it, because you're more educated, you make better decisions, you're more mature. So it could be a plus.
Right.
But the question I asked you, Mr. Cusgill, how do you think it's going to impact the NBA in terms of drafting and how's it going to affect, veteran ball players in the NBA? Will a lot of guys be leaving the NBA early because they're bringing new talent in, or what do you think?
Well, I mean, I think that the issue is going to be more around you got college guys that are going to be getting paid from companies now earlier. Mm-hmm. So now there's a lot of guys in the NBA don't get no endorsements now, only the top guys. But if you're leaving college already endorsing products, you walk into the NBA with that. Period. So now the guys that have not been, it's gonna be even harder for them. You know what I'm saying? And yes. so I gotta take a wait and see. My whole thing is how's it gonna affect the small colleges, the mid majors, and even the small colleges? How's it gonna affect them?
Yeah. Well, as a former college player, I felt, that when they're talking about players, the NCAA making billions of dollars and just telling us to run and play basketball and say, we're going to give you a college degree, when most of the time, the guys don't graduate. It's about time that law that sets in and says, give some security to these people that put their confidence, and some of these families that put their confidence in these schools to take care of these young men and women who are participating, making them rich. The NCAAs really have gotten over for many years.
No, listen, I agree with you 100%, but I think that, for instance, an HBCU that relies on marketing those products in order for their survival. I mean, the big schools, that's just big money in their pockets, right? Those smaller schools, man, how's it going to affect them? And that's going to, I'm going to take a wait and see. And, and guys are already not going to those schools, so how do you, be able to still recruit? I mean, some people will start, like the best player coming out of high school right now, he's going to Howard.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So I mean, I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that a lot, but, yeah,
it could be a benefit to Howard, though, Juan. It could be a benefit to Howard.
Yeah, it could. Absolutely. No
more focus and money will be channeled into Howard. So you're strong point that you're making.
Yeah, absolutely. So who you got tonight, man?
I want to say Milwaukee, because I don't know. Trey's still hurt.
Yeah.
I don't know how effective he's going to be. You know what I'm saying? And, thank God he's not playing Beverly, because Beverly be going for the legs. And so it'll be pretty interesting. I think they might bang him up a little bit. They might get a little physical and get him out of the game if he's in the game. I think if they play it safe and not play him, it could be up in the air. But I would go with Milwaukee then, because I think Middleton and the team will do a better Drew Holiday, and I think they could prevail. I really do.
Yeah,
well, they're a better defensive team.
Yeah, well, I think that Sweet Lou is going to have to do his thing. You know what I mean? Which he did last game. Yes, he really did. So it's just a matter. I'm still going with the Hawks, man.
Well, you've been pretty consistent with the Hawks. Now Capella is trying to hold his own, but they don't go down to him enough.
Hey, he played well last game, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Gracious, man. You know what I mean? And he's not bad when he gets the ball in the post, man.
And that's what I'm talking about. I think with these coaches, because the threes is taking the precedence, I don't know why there's not a lot of play down low anymore. I don't see the pick and roll. I don't see the two-man offense. I don't see, the penetration and dishing off with the guards crossing over, and looking for an open arrow, going down and picking for the guards so they can come out and shoot a jumper. I don't see that anymore.
No. And I mean, I think part of it is the fact that you know, they're pity patting with the ball all the way up to about 15 seconds, and they ain't got that much time left to do anything but
You're
shoot.
right. You're right.
That's what it is. You know what I mean?
Killing
And
the clock.
exactly. But and the other part of it is that the zone into the NBA has made a difference.
Good point.
So, but I'm still going with the Hawks. Go Knicks because they beat my Knicks, and so I'm going for them. But I don't know. It's gonna be hard for me when they play Phoenix.
Oh, I know. But my heart, I have to admit, like I said a long time ago, I represented Vin Baker. He's now assistant coach at the Milwaukee Bucks club, and my heart's with Vinny. I mean, he's my first love in basketball as far as mentoring a young man, and I just wish him all the luck in the world. I think he deserves that recognition. He's from Connecticut.
Yes.
He's one of our own. So I say, Vinny, go Bucks, and that's where I'm at, and I'm sticking to it.
You got that deer. You got that deer on your hat right now. So I see
it.
I see it.
And I got it from his basketball camp. So
I think I might have to go out there and get me a Hawks hat, man, for the next game. But all right, my brother. Listen, have a good night. Enjoy the game, man. And we're gonna see what's happening tomorrow, man. All right, my brother.
Sir. Have a blessed one.
Have a good one. One Castillo, Walt's World NBA Talk, the All-American Walter Luckett in the building.